Okay, everybody, this is going to be a watercolor doodle. I've been really into abstract work lately. I think it's because I've got, as all of you do, so much on our brains these days that it's really freeing for me to just not think too much and to just go. I tend to get in the really caught up in the process of thinking and planning and research, and then I just kind of stall and don't do anything. So instead of doing that, because I could feel myself going that direction again, instead of doing that, I thought, Jenny, stop, just do. The first thing that came to my head was watercolor. Second thing came to my head was doodle. Two things that I love to work with and I love to do so very much. As always, I'm just going to show you some things. I have my Daniel Smith watercolors, and then I have three PRIMA palettes, I should say. One is Terrain. This one's called Terrain. This one's Terrain. This one is Currents by PRIMA. And then my all-time favorite, this is Complexion by PRIMA watercolors. I use this one the most, and I use this more than anything other than, I don't really use it for, it's meant for skin tones, but I do use it for that, but it's mostly used for pretty much everything else. So I'm gonna put these out. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use them all. I might use a little bit. I might just stay here. I have no idea, but I like having my options open and kind of at my fingertips. That's how I like to work. I like to have things around me when my mind goes in one direction and be able to go for it, so I don't have to stop for too long. I do have my POSCA paint pens, and I also have, the paper we're using is 140-pound hot press watercolor paper by FABRIANO. One of my all-time favorites. I work on this constantly. And then I think I'm also going to use my CARTOTHELLO STABILO chalk pastel pencils because I can, and I love them, and I think I've made that clear if you followed me at all. So I'm gonna not teach a lot. I'm just gonna go ahead and play. And I want to give you guys, if this is what it takes, I want to give you guys permission to do the same thing, okay? I'm all about, especially lately, if you've been joining us for our lunchtime art-alongs on Next Generation Art, my Facebook page, about being free, not thinking too much, just moving and going for it. Because in the end of the day, it's paint, it's markers, it's paper, it's a pencil, you can start over. Honestly, you can start over. It's not the end of the world if something doesn't work out. Sometimes I'll take a piece of watercolor paper, and I'll have several. I'll maybe cut this one in half, and I'll have a few, and I'll just go for it. I'll just put stuff down on all of them and see where it takes me. You know, I don't really think about it. I just go for it and see what direction. I might see a face, I might see a flower, I might see just pattern and texture and movement. It's really kind of, I'm open to everything, and I want you guys to do the same thing. I want you guys to, we're so focused on a finished piece, on a product, on a reference, on something that is, you know, recognizable in front of us, when there's so much freedom and just as much skill required in doing something that's loose and carefree, and it still requires knowing the knowledge of color, how color plays off each other, the color wheel. It's still the knowledge of knowing how your products work. You still have to know those things. But these all, that play that you let yourselves have, plays into when you decide to go, hey, I really want to do this reference piece, and you know what, I really like the background that I did on when I was just playing with doodles and watercolor. I really like it on the background behind her, and now I know how to do it because I've done it, so I can go ahead and include it here. Or, you know what, you might say, I really like this piece of what I've done on this in this watercolor piece, and I'm going to turn this into the shirt of one of the girls that I'm working on, or one of who knows what it is that you're working on. But this stuff, I don't know if you look at it as just as important, but I want you to know it is just as important. It holds just as much importance as learning all the techniques. And this is technique. There is a technique in working loose. There is a skill that comes with being comfortable and learning how things play off each other, and when to stop, and when to stop adding, and when not to go overboard, or when you need to add more. It all adds up. It all becomes part of your toolbox when you are an artist. Okay, you don't have to stay here forever. You might decide, I absolutely love this and I'm never going to do anything else ever again. Who knows? You will never know unless you try, right? Right? I know that my page on Next Generation Art is a lot about portrait work, and I'm obsessed with it still. I will always do it because I love it deeply, but I'm really enjoying not having to think so much. I'm really enjoying playing and working things off of each other and taking new ventures and avenues and seeing where it goes, and working with mediums that I haven't worked with before. I have in the last couple weeks been working with these things, but I'm still exploring the magic of what these can do for me. I mean, the colors alone are so motivating in itself, right? The colors alone, they're so motivating. So I'm still exploring and seeing how far I can push this stuff. I just learned, I've had these for a few weeks, and I just learned that these are actually water soluble. I have yet to use them as water soluble. I don't know if I ever will, really, because I really like the way they work as the chalk pastel by themselves. I don't really want to lock it down. I like that I can maneuver it and play around with it with my blending stumps. And speaking of blending stumps, I always keep several on hand when I'm working with chalk pastel, especially, or charcoal. I try to keep ones specific to the color family, the cools and the warms. I try to keep them specific to the color family, so I don't go back and forth, because you just get muddy gray brown colors, and you don't want that. Unless you do want that, and then I would say just keep it one for earth tones, which is what I have going on here. And then a charcoal blending stump, I keep that separate completely, because the charcoal can be pretty intense and it will change every color you put it with. Unless you're looking for that, and then by all means, go for it. That's the beauty. You don't know until you know, right? You just don't know until you know. So if it takes me giving you guys permission, please, you have been given permission to play, and feel free and not judge, and just go for it. Just feel it, turn on the music, put on your favorite show in the background. Mine tends to be, a lot of the nights I'll listen to Golden Girls and Frasier. Sometimes I'll throw on Friends from Netflix, just to have some fun, because I like to laugh and I like to keep things light, especially when I'm working art. I don't like to create a lot when I'm working, if I'm down or sad, because I just don't feel creative. I just want to kind of process and move through it sometimes, but it's very rare. I don't find myself very often in that space. So overall, I try to keep a happy space, have my favorite things around me, put on a good song or listen to a good funny show, things that I don't really have to watch. It's just something that I know already, and I know it's going to make me laugh and feel comfortable and homey. So yeah. Oh, I also have a thick and thin marker, black permanent marker, and a size 4 and a size 8 watercolor brush. Again, I'm not 100% sure, because I don't like to make my pieces beforehand. I like to do the process and then, or pick my items, pick my materials, and then do the video and kind of have you guys go through it with me, as opposed to, I have an idea, but I try not to do it beforehand. And if I do pop in with the finished piece, that's because I wanted you guys to see it, and I had a little epiphany while I was working. Okay, so please guys, have fun and enjoy, and if you want to keep going on and keep staying in touch with Next Generation Art, please go ahead and check out my Facebook page. It's a closed group, and just go ahead and request an invite, and you're in like Flynn. Also, if you want to stay in touch and keep up with How To Tuesdays, please subscribe, like, and share. Click that button, ding, and that bell, ding. If you click the bell, I don't know, I just had a friend who didn't know this, and I just notified them, or told them, informed them, that when you click the bell, you get personal, like on your favorite artists that you're following or people that you're following on Instagram. If you click that bell, it personalizes it, and that's when you get to see the, if they post something, then you will see that they have just posted something, as opposed to going and searching for it yourself. If you personalize that bell, then you have, or if you click that bell and it says personalized, then you will get a pop-up either on your computer or on your phone. I usually get it on my phone that so-and-so has posted something, which I think is kind of cool, because, you know, we have crazy busy lives, and you just don't have time sometimes, and you just forget, but you really, really liked somebody and you want to follow their story or whatever, and that little reminder is pretty awesome. So I didn't know if you know that. A couple of my friends didn't know that until just recently, because I told them, so I thought, hey, why not share it? Okay? So anyways, guys, have fun. Remember, it's just art supplies, and you can start over, okay? All right, I love you guys. I will talk to you soon. Please check out Next Generation Art, and if you are new to my page, welcome. And I love, on Next Generation Art, I have you guys share. I throw up challenges and prompts all the time, and then I have you guys share your versions of them on my page. So if you find that you're moved by this piece or any of my videos, please join us at Next Generation Art and share what you've done, because that would be amazing. It's an incredible group. All right, guys, have fun. Bye. So I'm going through and I'm refining things. I've already added my doodles, and I'm thickening up certain lines. And this is no rhyme or reason, you guys. I'm not thinking of anything. I'm just laying it down. Certain lines. I didn't want all of it to be thin. I wanted to add some thickness in there to, you know, draw the eye around the piece. And you might decide, like, once I'm all said and done, I might decide I like it a certain way better. Like, kind of digging this way right now. But I'm going to keep going this way. Because who knows? It might actually be perfect in this direction. A couple things. And feel free to copy my doodles or come up with your own doodles or look online first before you start. There's no wrong or right way to doodle. I promise. You know, I'm not super crazy about this little section right here. So I might go in with my thick Sharpie. In fact, I'm going to wipe all of this out. Because I can. Say goodbye. Now I can do that because I have my paint pens. I have my UNI-POSCA paint pens. And I also, which I forgot to mention, see, and I kind of like that better. I also have my UNI-BALL SIGNO white gel pen, which I will go in and do some fun stuff with. But it's going bye-bye. I wanted a different focal point. Before, what I was doing was following the lines, the watercolor, and I'm going to get rid of this too. Boy, it's going to be a whole different piece, isn't it? I was following the dry edges of the watercolor where it overlapped and stuff, and was just doing the doodles with those, kind of creating a starting point, if you will. Use it as a starting point. Well, that's the perfect changing of my mind, and everything's okay. It's okay. Nothing has gone wrong. And the cool part is, again, it's just art supplies. It's just art supplies. I do now need to balance up all that because I've got so much dark right here. I do need to balance it a little bit more by thickening up some lines and darkening spots so it's not so heavy right there. At least that's my aesthetic. Anyways, you might totally dig it and want to leave it, and that's totally up to you. I love how it's super flowy, and it's only really flowy because of the way I drew the lines, because I have movement in my lines. I could have just done, and it would have been much more rigid. That's totally okay. It's just an aesthetic. Just an aesthetic that you're going for. I'm fleshing out these little flowers a little bit more so they have a little bit more oomph to them. Grounding them a little more so they don't look so loose. Or so, because by doing this I gave it a little bit more life. I think I need to darken this line too. This last one. Yeah, I'm liking that much better. Mucho better. Okay. Oh, I think I need to do this line now too. Yes, yes, yes. Gosh, I love a Sharpie so much. So much. Okay. Now I'm done teaching. I'm gonna go with some Posca.